think the problem is you haven't actually answered the question. We're not talking about crime. We're not talking about the hospitals, which, although that can obviously become a problem if abortion does go back to where it was prior. I'm actually asking, how can he stop your party from actually voting for how they would like to vote? My question's for Susan McDonald. Your party leader has said that there will be no changes to the abortion laws were the LNP to win. My question is, how can the party guarantee this, particularly given how the majority of LNP members voted on the last bill? And secondly, given your absence in the last bill, when the last time the bill was tabled, how will you personally vote if the abortion repeal bill does land back in Parliament?
Okay. Well, you're a federal politician.
So I think this is...
No. Yeah. So Susan's in the federal parliament, doesn't get a vote at the local level. But Susan, the question more broadly about whether abortion would be criminalised again is a live issue in Queensland. It's come up a lot. Will there be no conscience vote?
So, Joanna, thanks for your question. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to talk to this because as I go around Queensland, people talk to me about their worries about crime, about their worries about being able to see a doctor or a nurse, the lack of maternity services, the lack of VAD. These are all things that are very live for people, and people aren't saying that they're changing their vote because of abortion laws. That is what I'm hearing.
So that's the people, but what will happen?
Well, and the reason why I was absent from the vote is I don't vote in the Queensland Parliament. I don't sit there, so if you're looking for my name, that's why you won't see it. David Crisafulli has been incredibly clear. There won't be a change to the legislation. And I think this is a distraction from Labor and the Catters. It's a sweetheart deal because they've panicked. They've panicked when they see people are changing their votes because of the things that are mattering to them on a day-to-day basis. Crime, health, cost of living. They're the things that matter. And so at 2 minutes to midnight, we suddenly have this scare campaign. David Crisafulli gets up and says there'll be no change, and yet that's not enough.
But if a conscience vote did come up...
But he said there'll be no change.
But if the Katter Party raised a private member's bill, everyone would get a conscience vote, right?
But David Crisafulli has said there will be no change.
So does that mean he's going to...
answering the question, though? He's not answering the question. If he's not going to say there won't be a conscience vote, then there may well be a change.
We will keep going around in circles. David has said that this will not be a change because people on the street are saying to him, we need you to change government because of these reasons. We are frightened in our homes. We are leaving the keys in our car so that people are not breaking in and terrorising our children. We are terrified that we won't be able to get an ambulance, much less get into a hospital. We can't have a baby in a regional place. That's what he's focused on. He's been really disciplined on that, and it doesn't really matter what I say tonight because I don't think I will satisfy you because this is driven by Labor and the Catters and, you know, we will continue going over it.
Joanna?
I think the problem is you haven't actually answered the question. We're not talking about crime. We're not talking about the hospitals, which, although that can obviously become a problem if abortion does go back to where it was prior. I'm actually asking, how can he stop your party from actually voting for how they would like to vote at the end of the day if Katter raises the bill? And you've simply avoided the question. I just want to know how. How can he actually guarantee Queenslanders that it won't happen?
I don't know what else to tell you apart than... That is what he said, that there won't be a change to the legislation.
Well, it's just not good enough.
Yeah, please.
If you don't mind me jumping in just quickly, Joanna, thank you for raising this because it was 2018, not that long ago, that abortion was taken off our criminal law books. It used to be a crime for us to decide what we wanted to do with our bodies. Now, thank goodness that law was changed, but now we have the spectre of the Katter Party who could be in the balance of power after this election and who could demand and introduce a private members bill, and we have the possible next Premier refusing to say that he will bind his party members to oppose the change.
He hasn't said he'll bind them, but he's clearly said that he doesn't want to do this, though.
Well, he's saying it's not his plan. let's hope it's not. But if somebody else puts it on the table, it's not clear how his party will vote. Every other time it's been a conscience vote. So I think there are genuine concerns that our rights might go backwards, which scares me, because the debate that we should be having is about making people's choices, making abortion free and accessible, not whether or not it should be a crime to make decisions for ourselves.
Thanks, Joanna, for the question. And I actually do think this is a really big issue heading into the Queensland election. Of course, there are a range of other issues, health services, all sorts of other things. But clearly, this is an issue that has really resonated, in particular with women, but more broadly across the community as well. And I think that the way that David Crisafulli has handled this issue is one of the reasons why the gap in this election is closing. He's come across as shifty, evasive, dodgy, not wanting to answer the question. And the issue is, I mean, I'm prepared to take him at face value that he might not introduce legislation to recriminalise.
He's quite clear he doesn't want to do that.
I'm prepared to, but the issue is what happens if the Katters go ahead with their proposal to introduce the bill, and then he has not admitted or said whether there will be a conscience vote for his MPs. And this is why having a change of government in Queensland is such a risk, because if there is a change of government and you have a majority of LNP members who have a conscience vote, then it is very likely we will see abortion go back to being a crime again. It took a Labor government in Queensland after many decades of campaigning to make abortion not a crime, and if we have a change of government, we've got LNP candidates out there telling people on the booths, it's been reported, that they're telling people, trust me,
David
it's okay, we'll sort it out afterwards.
David Crisafulli has said it will not be changing. Now, if he wins on Saturday, and there's no certainty he's going to win, that will only be the second time in 13 elections the LNP has won an election. He's got the authority, and he says it will not be changing. Not about if someone else introduces the bill, we'll think about it. He has said very clearly it will not change. And he will come in as a premier with the authority, having won only the second time in 13 elections for his party. He said it will not change, bottom line.
Well, he needs to be clearer about what that actually means. With the Greens, every single MP, every single time, we will always support a woman's right.